next speaker is John Sweeting, who will be presenting the ARIN update. John is the Chief Experience Officer at ARIN and has traveled from Chantilly, Virginia to join us today. It is definitely not his first time on the NANOG stage, but I'm sure he appreciates your support anyway.
Awesome. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm John Sweeting, Chief Experience Officer with ARIN, the American Registry for Internet Numbers, and I'm going to give you a brief 30-minute update on what ARIN is doing and what we have done and what we plan to do. So, jumping right into it, where can you find ARIN here at NANOG 96? We have a customer service desk out in the showcase area in the foyer, and we also have a sponsor room, Waterfront A, up on the atrium level. We've had a lot of business during this NANOG. Usually people realize that we're here, and if they've had problems with any tickets or anything RPKI related, anything, they come and they find us in the sponsor room and we take care of them. And the goal is that any problem that's brought to us is resolved before we leave here. So if you have a problem, come and see us. Maybe we can get it resolved for you. Okay, so like I said, we're here for the NANOG community. We're here for those folks, the NANOG community that uses ARIN, which if you're running a network, you probably use ARIN. The customer service desk is, if you have quick questions, you can see Eddie out there. Eddie's usually the one sitting out at the customer service desk. Ticket question, quick things like that. But if you have more personal issues with a ticket or something that you want to discuss in private, you can come up and see us in the sponsor room. You can also, we always have Brad Gorman or one of the RPKI specialists up there to help you with that. And if you want to book a time, because it sometimes gets busy, we actually have people queued up sometimes that are waiting. But if you want to book a specific time, we'll make sure we're available at that time. Okay, so quick snapshot of the ARIN membership. We have 26,542 ARIN service members, so that would be members that have internet number resources under an agreement with ARIN. Of that 26,000 plus, we have 1,477 of those members that are general members. The difference being a general member is a service member that has said, hey, I want to be more involved in the governance of ARIN. I want to vote in your elections, and so therefore I want to be a general member. They become a general member. They then provide a voting contact in their organization record, and they get to vote. We also have like 14,000 legacy customers that we service. So after every election, we do a reclassification of the general members because there's a requirement on a general member to vote in at least one of 3 consecutive ARIN elections. And the purpose of that is to make sure that we have an established quorum that is in line with the members that wish to vote in our elections. So if you're a general member and you haven't voted in 3 consecutive elections, at the end of the election that year, we run what we call a reclassification of inactive general members. This year there was 259 members in that category that were reclassified to strictly service member. There's no waiting time. If like you find out, oh, the person that was doing this job before me let our general membership run out, I want to be active and vote, you just apply to be a general member again and you will get to be a general member again. So our results from 2025 elections, Lee Howard was elected. Lee Howard should be familiar to everyone here at NANOG and also in the ARIN community as he served on the board. The last time he served on the board was in 2010, but he is back. And Hank Kilmer and Rob Seastrom were re-elected as incumbents. On the advisory council, we have one new advisory council member, E. Marie Brierly. Marie is new to the Advisory Council, but she's not new to the Nanoga ARIN community. And then Jerry George, Brian Jones, Gus Reese, and Allison Wood were reelected. And a new NRO number council member, who's should be familiar to a lot of people, is Alyssa Quinn. She served on the ARIN Advisory Council until 2022, when she elected to step down for a few years and recently said, hey, I want to get back into this policy stuff. And instead of going to the Advisory Council, she went to the Number Council and is now involved in, of course, the rewrite of ICP2 or the update of ICP2. So organizational updates, registration services run by our director, Lisa Lydell. They assist in processing all your requests, IPv4, IPv6, AS numbers. We've got like 3 different pools of IPv4 space. We got the wait list. We've got the 4.4 space for IX and critical infrastructure, and what we call 4.10 space. And when I say 4.4, I'm referring to the section of the Number Resource Policy Manual that covers that policy. And the 4.10 is for facilitating deployment of IPv6. You can get a /24. They also facilitate resource transfers, which is really the main time is spent on facilitating transfers. They do a lot of transfers. I have some numbers that I'll show you in a little while. And they also maintain data accuracy and precision of the registry by working with our members to update the information. They'll help you if you have a multi-factor authentication issue. They're there. They have a chat that runs. It's Monday to Friday, I think 10 to 4, and then a help desk voice, which is Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern, so we can cover all our customers on both coasts. Yeah, so the IPv4 waiting list, the current status, since January 1st, 2024, there was 1,110 organizations added to the waiting list. And in that same time period, there was 1,333 organizations that received addresses from the IPv4 waiting list. So it's keeping up. We do get space back from revocations, returns, space that's been hijacked, and we find out and we work through it and we actually get it back and we're able to give it out. So today there's 417 requests remaining on the wait list at the end of Q4, and we filled 149 requests for Q4. We did a big fill in, I think it was third quarter. We filled like a little over 500 requests in that quarter because we had some large space that was recovered and cleaned and able to be given out. Customer by resource type, you can see how it breaks down. It's pretty evenly broken out, except for IPv6 is lagging behind. IPv6 only is 4%. IPv6 and IPv4 is 21%. Legacy is 32%. A quick, I don't think I covered anywhere else I don't remember seeing it in the presentation, but ARIN is now at 93.5% of our resources are covered under an ARIN agreement. That's up from 46% in 2017. So over the last 8 years, we have gone from 46% under agreement to 93.5% under agreement. We have a goal to get to 95%. That last 1% is going to be hard. Here's a snapshot of /16 equivalents recently transferred. The story here is, you see in 2024 and 2025, there was a big jump in 8.2 transfers, which 8.2 transfers are merger and acquisition. And a lot of that was due to a lot of the really large ISPs that had made a lot of acquisitions over the years and had never bothered to do the work to get them the resources moved from who they acquired into their account. These last 2 years, big effort went into that cleanup, and a lot of space was moved into the acquiring ISPs. So that's what those big jumps were there. Everything else pretty much remained quite the same. 2025, those did see a rise in the 8.4 market out of region. IPv6 allocations, kind of boring story, but it does go up every year. So the story is IPv6 adoption continues to grow. Not sure how much, we don't measure how much of that is deployed and used in a network. So it's a bellwether on what people have come to ARIN and requested IPv6. We have a little bit of a theory that some of that jump was driven by the fact that you can get a /24 of IPv4 space if you first get IPv6 space. Not really sure. We're not attesting to IPv6. Everybody's going out and building IPv6 networks. We don't really know that. They tell us they are. We believe them. All right, our comms department. The director for the comms department is Hollis Kara. And so our comms department, they promote an active, I smile every time I think of Hollis because she makes me laugh all the time, that's all. They're the ones that let our members and resource holders and the community and the global community know what's going on. They run the blogs, they run the websites, they coordinate our two annual meetings, our biannual public policy and members meetings, as well as other outreach events, ARIN on the Road. We have a new one deep dive into RPKI that Brad Gorman is the main instructor for. We did, I think, 4 of those last year, and we have like people lined up asking for us to come and do it at their events. And they also develop all the training materials, documentation, maintain the website, blogs, announcements, anything that has to do with communications. They're also do a lot of writing for the NRO Executive Council and distribute those materials as well. ARIN consultations, we only had 1 consultation that we ran last year, and it was enforcing hierarchical naming for AS sets, and the implementation is pending. It hasn't been plugged into a spot on the roadmap, but it is at the top of the features that we want to develop. And we do have an upcoming consultation for the future of ARIN directory services, and that schedule is pending. We have a few other things going on that we're looking at before we actually set that schedule in stone. And then there's the ICP2 update, the RIR governance document. There was a second consultation on the revised draft governance document for the recognition, operation, and derecognition of the regional internet registries. I'm not sure how many people know the history, but back in I think it was 2002, 2003. There was APNIC, there was APNIC, RIPE, and ARIN, and they wanted to establish a registry for Latin America, and right after that, they wanted to establish a registry for Africa, and there wasn't any documentation that said, how do you do this? So they put together ICP2, and it hasn't been updated since then. So with all the things that are going on in the world today, they decided that, well, we really need this governance document updated, because one thing they didn't have in there is how do you deregister an RIR that's not doing its job or is unable to do its job. So there's a few other reasons why they did it. One was just because it hadn't been updated. But if you want to view what's going on with that, there's the link to it. You'll see the summary report of the second consultation. There's also an outstanding status issues report that's going to be published February 6th. and the whole timeline for what's going to happen, the milestones over 2026 is published there as well. And the comms team also runs the ARIN Academy. We've got 3 courses available. We just got our LMS like early last year. They started working on it. So there's 3 courses available, getting started with ARIN, using ARIN's hosted RPKI and IPv6 address planning basics. So those are free courses. Anyone that wants to take them, you just go to arin.net/training and sign up and take it. And of course, they have the ARIN blog. One of the big things they do, I don't know, I get so many requests to approve blogs. It seems like there's one going out every day. It's not that many, but they do a lot of blogs. We do guest blogs. We find interesting things like Jeff Houston posted something over in the AP-NIC region. We're like, wow, that would be great to share with the ARIN community. We say, hey, Jeff, can we post this as a guest blog? Jeff says, yes, we post it as a guest blog. Hollis and her team do all that. They stay up on everything around the globe to try to make sure they can, the things that they think are interesting to our community, they republish. Okay, and their next meeting that they have, registration is now up and open for, is Louisville, Kentucky, 19 to 22 April. The social event there will be the Louisville Slugger Museum, which I hear is a very nice attraction in Louisville. It was that or a whiskey place, and nobody at ARIN drank, so we said we'll go with the baseball bats. Why not? All right, customer experience and strategy. Joe Westover is the senior director of this team. You got a couple of teams that fall under Joe. It's the customer experience and strategy team, the customer technical services team, and the registry integrity and oversight team. This department focuses on process of designing, delivering, managing, improving the process delivery of services that ARIN provides to its customers. So the main team, they focus on the requirements we get from the community on how they want the user interface, new features added to that. They look at all of that, they prioritize it, they write the requirements, they hand it off to the development team that then turns it into stories and goes through and develops that. Yeah, they're involved in additional service programs. Outreach efforts are overseen by that team. They also, the policy development analyst, Eddie Diego, who's probably in here somewhere, but it's hard to see with the lights. Eddie is on Joe's team, and he takes care of policy, the policy development process, the advisory council, policy that was adopted, recent policy adopted by the board was 2025-2, clarify the 851 registration service. And then again, 851 is a section in the number resource policy manual. That policy used to say that, hey, if you weren't within the last 2 versions of the registration services agreement, you had to sign a new one. It was a lot of work for some of our customers, government agencies, schools, people that have large law offices that every lawyer has to look at an agreement before it can get signed. So we looked at it and got with our general counsel and said, hey, why do they have to sign just because they're 2 versions back? Why do they have to sign this? And he was like, that's a good question. He went and researched, came back and said, well, they really don't. If they signed any of the versions, then they're obligated to ARIN under that agreement. So the only place that was still applicable was under transfer policy. So you no longer will be asked to sign an updated RSA just because you have a version 12 and we're on version 15. We'll keep the version 12, we'll run right through, you'll get the transfer done and get your resources. These are some of the draft policies on the ARIN 57 docket. You can read them all for yourself. There's things in there to fix how to plan for IPv6, and the advisory council is starting to look at the policies around IPv6 because they're very they're very instructional today. They tell network operators, here's the number of IPv6 addresses you need, and here's how you need to deploy them in your network, and you can't get resources for anything else. And we looked at it and we're like, well, we shouldn't be prescribing to customers how to build their network. We should just be looking at, hey, if they say, here's how we want to build our network, and here's how we're going to use the IPv6 addresses you give us, and it makes sense, then we're going to approve that and give you what you're asking for. Okay, customer technical services. Brad Gorman over here in the corner there is the director of that. He initially was the senior product owner for RPKI. That's now expanded to full routing security and a whole bunch of other technical services that him and his team oversee. They lead the end-to-end planning and development of ARIN's routing security products and services. And they also, his team, he has 2 other people on his team. Any tickets that come in on RPKI and how to create ROAs and any general questions, DNSSEC, anything like that goes to his team for resolution of that ticket. RPKI adoptions by service type. We have 8,140 organizations that have signed up to use ARIN's RPKI services. You can see it grows a little bit each quarter. 83% of those organizations use hosted RPKI and have at least 1 or more active ROAs, which kind of means that they use the full service that ARIN provides. There is delegated RPKI, 1.9% use that, with 97% of that 156 orgs using ARIN's repository publication services, which is kind of like a hybrid deal. So let's see. Recent RPKI service up available in production and test environments. That's on the ASPA object support. It's in production today. It used to be only in the OT&E, but it's now in production. It's still in IET draft status. Users should consult ARIN documentation, and if you need to talk to Brad or his team, just open an Ask ARIN ticket to get that rolling. Some of the things going on in the IETF and the Global Steering Group updates. There's some drafts there for you to look into if you're interested in them. Service improvements. ARIN point of contact linking is now fully authenticated and ticket-based. We no longer will use email-based approvals. They're just not permitted. We had some problems with that. People getting their email server hijacked, and other people were able to use that hijack to link to role POCs and take over routing POC actions and actually create some ROAs and delete some ROAs that the real users did not want to happen. And a reallocation control feature. So if you're an organization, when you by default, anybody can reallocate space to you if you're an org ID in ARIN. But there's now a button that if you do not wish to have anybody reallocate space to your organization, you can push that button on and they cannot do it. Some of our larger ISPs have had that problem in the past, and we developed that quick fix for them to have that control. Registry, the real team, the Registry Integrity and Oversight, they do a lot of looking at people coming in trying to get the special reserve pools. And when there's people we suspect of fraud, we look at Section 9 violations. We do a Section 12 on them, which is Section 12 is a full audit. And usually that involves getting on Zoom with them, having them present their government photo ID. And a lot of times that results in space being returned to ARIN because either they're really not who they said they were, or they just won't even show up to actually show us their ID and that they are who they say they are. So when that happens, the end of a Section 12 can result in revocation. Promoting IPv6 and RPKI adoption. We got a lot of educational courses, e-learning. There's the IPv6 and the RPKI are two of the courses we have available in the ARIN Academy. Workshops and conferences. Again, we have ARIN on the road. We will be in Nashville right after FISPA in I think 2 weeks with an ARIN on the road. We have some deep dives coming up. If you want to hear about that, run Brad down. I don't have the dates in my head. Community engagement, the media and blogs, of course, mailing list, meeting reports. We do have a community grant program, and we also provide customer service desk at, we do it here at all three of the NANOGs. We do it at WISPA, FISPA, Internet 2. We're going to do one at TORNOG. We do them in SHINOG. We do them in Midwest Peering Forum. We do them all over the place. Any place anybody asks us to come where they have a well-representative group of interested folks in ARIN policies and services, we will put together a team and we will go and visit them and spend a day with them and let them see what we're up to. Outreach, this is the first quarter. CAN-WISP in March, FISPA this February, ISP America March, ARIN on the road in this month, and NANOG 96 this month. We have a community grant program, I said. These are the parameters around that. The big thing is it's got to fit in one of the following categories: internet technical improvements, registry processes and technology improvements, informational outreach, and research. Let's see. This is, the Premier Support Plan. We basically call it white glove treatment. Your tickets get up to the top. They get a little flag and they get done first. You get a 24/7 on-call number and waive transfer request fees for source transfers for up to 10 transfers a year. And you get your own personalized analyst, own personal analyst. We run a qualified facilitators program. You can see the list of them here. There's 9 of them. We run an extensive background check. They have to have I think it's, $1 million worth of insurance or more. They have to have references. And they have to, if they have to do a code of conduct where they agree if they have any complaints or issues with customers, that they have to resolve those complaints and let ARIN know how they resolved them. So that's the list. Government affairs, they run a lot of the multi-stakeholder protection stuff with ICP2. WIS's plus 20 was the big thing last year. We do ARIN in the Caribbean, which you can see the academia, law enforcement, public sector. They do a lot with the Chamber of Commerce's down there. And that's it, with a minute to go.
Thank you, John. Oh, we got a question. Oh, several questions. We're going to start on this side because they've got 2 people and you're just 1.
Thanks, Adair. Kat Hunter, Comcast, but speaking for the ARIN Advisory Council as chair. So we spun up a working group last year, which is the Policy Engagement Working Group. We had a lot of comments that the community wanted to have alternative ways to speak with the Advisory Council. So there is currently a survey that is live until the end of February. It's an Advisory Council initiative. So I have a QR code if anybody doesn't want to deal with the the link for that. It's on the ARIN blog, and it's arin.net/AC survey blog. Couple of things that are on there are things like office hours for the AC, better training on how to do your first policy, things like that. So we're just looking to get information on how you would like to better work with the advisory council. And I'm here for the entire time, so if you want to talk about that, we can talk about that as well.
Hey, Kat, what was that web address again?
Web address again is arin.net/AC survey blog.
Blog.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Like the way you say blog, Kat.
Blog. Steve?
Steve Wallace, Internet 2. So I'd like to better understand the agreement thing you brought up. So in the most current agreement, I believe you sort of relax if there's a termination for cause and you were a legacy holder before you sign the agreement, it reverts back to you being a legacy holder.
Yes.
Do people have to sign that new agreement to receive those terms? So,
No.
so
According to our general counsel, no. That if they've signed any agreement, they benefit from the newest agreement.
is that clearly stated somewhere? Because that would be,
Is it stated somewhere?
yeah. Do you guys have an opinion you published or something like that?
No.
Okay,
I don't think we have it public. That's a good idea. I'll take that back to Michael.
thanks.
I mean, it only makes sense, right? If anybody could sign it, then why would we make 25,000 organizations sign it? I'm not a lawyer.
I'm sure Steve will be
I-
able to find a half dozen.
listen to
people
my
within
general
RNE
counsel.
who can give feedback.
We have a question received online from Joshua Golden. It looks like an organization ID is required for signing up for IPv6 address planning training. Can an individual register for this, or does it have to be done in another way?
Yes, an individual can as a sole proprietor. So they have to just be in whatever their local jurisdiction. So if you're in a state that's or a economy that says you can be a sole proprietor and use your own social security number to pay your taxes and everything, that's all you need, then you're a sole proprietor. If you're in a jurisdiction that says you have to register as a sole provider, then you have, or sole proprietor, then you have to be registered as a sole proprietor in that region that you say you're in.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the room?